Okay, this is the trim function. For you at home that don't know what trim function means, it basically means that any text that you put into a cell will trim it down to make sure that there's nothing added in there by mistake. And a typical example is when you have a working environment with multiple people putting information into one workbook. Quite a common thing that happens is when people are typing in names or whatever they're typing in, sometimes they have a habit of hitting the space bar after they type something. So for example, you could type in John, hit the space and then click out. Now John looks like a normal cell, and if you were to run a Countifs function, it wouldn't actually pick up John at all if you were asking it to find John, because John is actually not John. John is John with a space behind it. So to prove my point here, if I just remove John from there, at the moment you've got Mandy, Tracy, Sue, Jill, Jack, Ben, etc. going down the left, and I've run a Countifs function here. So it says there's 5 Mandys and 5 Tracys and 5 Sues and 6 Jills, etc. But that's actually incorrect. And the reason why is because if I click in there, it says in column C, if column C has a Mandy in it, tell me how many Mandys there is, and it says there's 5. But actually there's more than that, and I'll prove my point, because if I click on Mandy and I click in next to the cell, you can see there's a space between the cursor and Y, which means somebody's hit the space bar. So to prove my point, Mandy says 5. If I hit the backspace bar once to delete that space and then hit return, you'll see the 5 on Mandy change to 6. And there you go. And again with Tracy, it says Tracy's got 5, but again there's a space behind Tracy, so again if I do a backspace, there's actually 6 Tracys. And on Sue, well, as you can see, there's 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 spaces between Sue and the cursor. So if I hit backspace, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces, and then hit return, Sue has gone from a 5 to a 6. And that's the reason why we do trim. Now, as it happens, I haven't actually trimmed these by running the formula. I've just done them manually. So I'm just going to put just a few random spaces after a few people. So again, that'll have run the formula based on the correct spelling. So what we'll do is we'll create a trim formula. So we'll type in equals trim, open bracket or parentheses, however you want to call it. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to click on the text next to it. Now as it happens it says names, but it's only because of where I started the text. So I'm going to click on that there, and I'm going to close the bracket or parentheses and hit return. Now at the moment names is trimmed down, and I'm just going to run that formula all the way down to the end of that text, and it's going to literally reproduce every single thing that's in that text. But this is a good thing. Make a note of this. 5, 6, 6, or just 1 5 and everything is 6. So if I was to copy that and replace it into the existing, but using 1 2 3 so it doesn't copy the formula, you'll notice the 5 6 6 6 6 will change. So it goes to 6 6 6 6 6, because now it identifies that there's no cells in there with spaces behind, and then all you need to do is just delete that. So you know everything in that cell going down is literally free from any mistakes. So if you were to run a formula on that now, everything would be exactly correct here, which it is. And that's how you do a trim formula.